So I come across this company as I'm just casually looking up things. I wanted to know who this guy was with the great Elon. He owns some, he's a United Arab Emirati. He owns some businesses, but not, I looked it up wrong. Well, I didn't look it up wrong, but his is on a different exchange. So when I came across that company, AACT, I found out that AACT is going to have is a SPAC, is going to have a SPAC merger with this Kodiak Robotics, and this one, a $2.5 billion evaluation, Soros, Kathy Wood's ARC, and they're a self-driving truck oil logistics company in West Texas. How is this possible? Oh wait, like how are people gonna have jobs? Because it almost seems like every single job is gonna be gone. And it's like, is it great, Elon and Hussein going to help people? I mean, I don't know. They don't exist. She's eating. Why do you pick that picture? But anyways, this company this is an estimated $4.4+ trillion global company. They've already have hours of this autonomous driving, which I didn't really know they were doing this. They're going to have 100 more trucks. They already have trucks. They've logged over 2.6 million autonomous miles. And in the Permian Basin, autonomously delivering goods daily. That is something, isn't it? I mean, how? What will people do for work? I don't understand. I guess maybe I see it. But this is a pioneer. I'm wondering, so then you had Webull, right? And Webull, they're evaluated way more though. So Webull's valuation was 7.5 million. But you see that same kind of thing where it stays around the $10-ish range, and then it really pops. But actually, I want to say, did Webull have some? Oh wait, they had this news. Well, this was when it was. This would have reflected when it was under the SPAC, the shell company. So it had a little hit after they got their announcement, and then they went back down, but not by much. So you could say, and now it is, right? But it was up. It was going crazy. I want to say I think it got up to 70. So if people sold right at that time, that would have been good. Okay, but wait. So this one, I looked up I'm only AIing up, so I don't know much about Webull, but I wonder if this company starts to get more traction. But it's still only, because you would end up, if you hold AACT now, when the merger is official, which is supposed to be the second half of 2025, which we could say July, you would then own KDK. But KDK, it currently potentially exceeding the 2.5 billion. And they had a 661 million cash infusion to provide strong runway to scale operations. So you could say they're going to there are scaling. But of course this is risk, because you don't know if this doesn't happen. But it looks pretty set like it's going to happen. I don't know. Wait, and when I asked about Webull, this was going to be Webull. They are at 7.5. 7.3. And their agreement was signed in February, and then the merger closed in April. So if we're on that timeline, and this is April 14th, and then you say May, June. I mean, that was how short Webull was. It went from February to this. Wait a minute. What did they sign? Plans to go public. Plans. What did this is saying the deal. In the report. So wait, I don't know what they might have signed here. But another company just did this. So, I don't know. We'll see. But this could be interesting, I think. I don't know. I would almost think, because there's a lot of... Webull is basically an investment app, right? So, like, if you looked at what Webull, financial services, they have a lot of competition, right? But if I look up, we could say how many companies are competing with Kodiak at the same level. But even then, they need a ton of this, right? And this has like, I feel like Kodiak would have way more potential if they're really doing all these things than Webull. AI-powered vehicle agnostic automated systems. The commercial driverless operations. They have these partnerships. They have a partnership with the U.S. Department of Defense. Get out of here. Webull doesn't have a partnership with the U.S. Department of Defense. I would almost say, wait, here are their competitors. Aora, True Simple, and it looks like they have a lot of competitors too. But I don't know. Not a lot. And I would say you're going to need a lot of these if they want to just fire everyone. Well, these ones are in China, so they wouldn't want to use these. There is. These companies are either too small or focus on niche applications. Okay, never mind. Those would be just notable players. Commercial operations make it a comparable competitor. I assume a rising star. Pre-driverless status. Less mature. Pilot programs, but its later commercial Thailand. Reliance on data make it a close peer. I don't know. Aurora's technical maturity ahead of Kodiak, but it's slightly on long-haul trucking commercial pilots aligns closely. So this would be their biggest competitor, Aurora. Whereas Webull, they have a buttload. So one might think that this is a decent deal, but it could obviously go lower before this happens. But if the Webull thing happened in less than 3 months, it was like mid-February they announced, and then it happened. When did it happen? Wait a minute. Literally like last week. Wait, it was like April 10th. So 2 months. You could say these things might take 2 months. And I'm just being I'm not saying they take 2 months. I'm just saying that's how long that one took. So we'd be looking at, if it was April 14th, May 14th, June 14th. The shares of this could look quite different. But then again, Kodiak is not valued as high as Webull was, but that could also be because they're different types of companies, because I almost think Kodiak looks like a good company.